You know, when we think of ancient wars, we picture huge armies, right? Kings and empires clashing. But what happens when a massive conflict suddenly boils down to just one person's family? That's exactly what we're going to dive in today with Genesis 14. This is the story of Abram's first war, and trust me, it starts with big-time politics, but ends with a choice that reveals everything about who he is.
Yeah, this isn't just some dry history lesson. It's a real human drama. You've got this huge war, a totally desperate rescue mission. I mean, the odds are just impossible. And it all leads up to this one defining choice. So how did it all kick off? Let's get into it.
Okay, so where does a war like this even come from? Well, this one didn't start with our main guy, Abram. Nope, it started with a bunch of kings and a rebellion, a power struggle that had been brewing for a long, long time.
All right, so let's break down the players. You've basically got two teams here. On one side, you have the big guys, the invading alliance. It's 4 kings, led by this powerhouse, Kedorlaomer of Elam. Then, on the other side, you've got the local rebels, a team of 5 kings, including, the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a classic setup, right? A regional superpower coming in to squash a little rebellion.
And look, this thing didn't just happen overnight. For 12 years, these local kings were serving King Kedorlaomer. Then, in year 13, they finally say, we've had enough. They rebel. And you can bet that didn't go over well. The very next year, Kedorlaomer and his buddies march in ready to put them back in their place.
So, up to this point, it's all kings, armies, and politics. Pretty standard stuff. But now the story is about to zoom in and get incredibly personal. This big, distant war is about to hit very, very close to home for someone who had nothing to do with it.
So the two sides finally face off in the Valley of Siddim, and the battlefield itself is a huge problem, because it's full of these nasty tar pits. When the fighting starts, the armies of Sodom and Gomorrah just completely fall apart. They run. Some guys fall right into the tar pits, and the rest just flee for the hills. It was a total disaster for them. And the invaders? They just walk in, plunder the cities, and take everything and everyone they can find.
And right here, this is the moment everything changes. Because among all those people they captured was a man named Lot, Abram's nephew. He'd been living in Sodom. All of a sudden, this big, messy war isn't just news from a faraway place. It has a face. And Abram, well, now he has a reason to get involved. So someone escapes and gets the word to Abram. And what does he do? He doesn't wait. He doesn't form a committee. He just acts. Now remember, he's not a king. He doesn't have a national army. But that doesn't matter. He is about to launch one of the gutsiest rescue missions you can imagine.
So what kind of force does he pull together? Get this, 318 men. That's it. And these aren't professional soldiers he hired. These are guys from his own household, born and trained right there with him. Think about that. His own private security detail going up against the combined armies of 4 victorious kings. The odds are just staggering.
Okay, so Abram knows he can't win a straight-up fight. He's got to be smart. He uses strategy. First, he tracks the enemy army all the way to a place called Dan. Then, and this is brilliant, he splits up his tiny force, and in the middle of the night, he hits them with a surprise attack. It works. It works perfectly. He sends them running and chases them all the way to Hobah, which is north of Damascus.
The result? An absolutely stunning victory. I mean, total success. He gets back every single thing that was stolen, and, most importantly, he gets Lot back, along with his family, his stuff, and all the other people who were taken. Against all odds, the mission is a complete success.
All right, so the battle's won. Abram is coming home a hero, right? You'd think the story's over, but it's not. In fact, his biggest test is just beginning, and it's not going to be a physical fight. It's a moral one, and it's brought to him by 2 very, very different kings.
So first up, this really mysterious guy shows up. His name is Melchizedek. He's the king of Salem, which would later be Jerusalem, by the way. But he's more than just a king. He's also a priest of God Most High. And he doesn't come asking for anything. Instead, he brings out bread and wine for Abram. It's this gesture of peace, of welcome.
Then Melchizedek gives Abram a blessing, and you really have to pay attention to the words here. He says the victory, it wasn't just Abram's smarts or his courage. He says God Most High is the one who defeated Abram's enemies for him. He completely reframes the whole event, giving all the credit to God.
And how does Abram respond? Instantly. He gets it. He gives Melchizedek 1/10 of everything he recovered from the battle. This isn't just a random payment, it's a huge deal. It's an act of worship, a public statement saying, you're right, this victory wasn't just me. Okay, so right after this incredible spiritual moment, another king shows up, the king of Sodom, and his offer could not be more different. Melchizedek offered a blessing and asked for nothing. The king of Sodom? He offers a business transaction. He says, look, Abram, you give me back my people and you can keep all the loot for yourself. All of it. And this is the moment the whole story has been building towards. Abram's choice. He looks at the king of Sodom and completely refuses the deal. He swears an oath that he won't take a thing, not a thread, not a shoelace. And his reason? It's so powerful. He says he won't take it so that the king of Sodom can never ever say, I'm the one who made Abram rich.
Wow. In that one choice, you see everything you need to know about Abram's character. He turns down the dirty money from Sodom. He still makes sure his allies get their fair share. He's not a jerk about it. But for himself, he makes it clear who he's with. By using that same title, Lord God Most High, he's publicly siding with the God of Melchizedek, not the king of Sodom. He's choosing who his provider really is.
So that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Abram won the war. He could have been set for life, just rolling in wealth, but he walked away from it. So you have to ask yourself, by saying no to all that stuff, what kind of wealth, what kind of blessing was Abram really choosing instead?